Hello, my name is David Love, and I'm a student at Jefferson State Community College. I'm here with my supervisor, David Love, also. Uh, he has been in the funeral service industry for several years. Oh, David, what got you into the funeral service industry?
Well, Tony, I was interested and fascinated with funeral service even as a young boy growing up. My grandmother would take me to funerals, and it was always interesting to see the funeral directors work and handle the casket and the family, and that was my earliest recollections of funeral service. And from there, didn't really think any more about it much until after high school, and I was working, and I decided I wanted to do something other than what I was doing at that time. And my wife suggested, since you'd always wanted to go into the funeral business, it would be a good time to do that. And this was in 1972, upon which the fall of that year I enrolled in Gupton College in Nashville and was there for a 2 year course with an associate's degree received in 1974. But funeral service has always been fascinating to me in a lot of ways, and the service that's provided to families in a very difficult time is very important.
Well, how long have you been currently in the funeral service industry?
Well, of course, school was approximately 2 years, and I've been in funeral service the rest of the time, except for about 2 years that I wasn't working either directly or indirectly in a funeral home. I did some trade embalming for a while, as I did other things on the side during that time. But I guess probably been in the funeral home and worked actually in the funeral home probably 35 to 38 years.
Well, where do you see the funeral industry going in the future?
Well, it's changed so much during my life. When we first started in the early 70s, uh, you might receive a call and you'd make the call, and possibly the family would come in even before knew that you had a call from the hospital. Many times we put people out even in the middle of the night. They usually would just come and make the arrangements and stay, and they would be there until the service, usually in 2 or 3 days. All families set up with their loved ones at that point. Of course, all of that has changed now, and certainly this is all for the better, the changes that I've seen. Um, I think cremation is going to be the big thing, and that is coming in our future. We have got to change and embrace that if we want to survive in our business, and to learn to deal with cremations and to learn to work within that framework to uh, at least suggest to families that they can still have visitation and service, and even with cremation and instead of ground burial.
Well, have you seen a lot of people choosing? Have you seen a rise in popularity of cremation?
Yes, here since I've been here, uh, cremation rates have increased tremendously. Uh, when I first started to work here at Shackelford in 1986, we might have 3 or 4 cremations a year. Now we have 3 or 4, sometimes 5 cremations a month. Many of those are direct, but many of those are because I think of our efforts are full service options with cremation following.
Is what would be the best tool you think to battle against the rise in popularity of cremation?
I don't think it can be stopped. We just have to embrace it and use that to our advantage, and it really inform the public. It really comes down to us. And education is very important, and I understand the people's attitudes have changed than they were when I first began. But we have to embrace the cremations, and as I mentioned, more importantly, inform the public that they are options other than just direct cremation.
Well, have you seen a difference in technologically speaking, in funeral service practice? with the rise of movies being played during the funeral service and things like that?
Sure. Used to, the only stationary items that were available at a funeral was the register book and thank you cards when everything was completed. And now, of course, we have memorial folders, videos, all different kinds of stationary items and tools that we supply to families to help them and especially the videos. There've been a great rise in videos just in the last few years. And it's going to be interesting to see what is on the horizon. It's just almost unimaginable when I think back over the years, the changes that I've seen in my lifetime.
Well, on a more personal level, have you found the funeral industry to be enriching personally?
Yes, it's been very enriching for me. I've made a good living doing this and enjoying what I do. I enjoy trying to help families and to help them through a very difficult time in their life, and it has been very, very rewarding, especially when a family comes back and they thank you passionately what you have tried to do for them and to help them with dealing with the death in their family, and that is very rewarding personally to me.
Well, I understand that the funeral service itself is demanding on a personal level in our lives. What type of characteristics do you think one would need to be equipped to handle a funeral service?
Well, education is very important, and continuing training is very important, and that's one of the big increases that we have had, and that has been continuing education, and that is great. You never get too old to learn. There's always something new and something, and someone has ideas to do things even better than what we have been used to, and we have to embrace those changes and to continue. But education is very important.
Do you see a bright future for funeral industry?
Oh yes, I think the future of funeral industry will be around for a long time. I see a great future, but we have to be prepared for it, and we have to embrace it. And it's good to see the younger people now that are coming into funeral service, and they will have new ideas, and we just need to embrace those new ideas and continue with what we do best.
Well, what advice would you give to someone aspiring to start their career in funeral service?
Well, I would just simply tell anyone that it is hard work, but it's very rewarding work. The pay is not the best in the world. You can make a good living. However, but the rewards certainly far outweigh the problems that you have as far as working long hours, and of course now with technology what it is, there's much more freedom at the funeral home now, and all of those ideas have changed than what they were when I first began.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And this has been an interview with David Love, licensed funeral director and embalmer.